Hey guys, it's Nova, and welcome to another Game of Thrones fan video reaction. This time around, we're going to be looking at Petyr Baelish, A Little Game. And very clever title, I gotta say, because he was all about playing that Game of Thrones. And I don't know, like I haven't actually read the entirety of the first book, In fact, I didn't actually read it. It was an audiobook. But the point being, most of my experience with Littlefinger has come through the show. Like, I don't really know a lot of what's different, book versus TV show version, Littlefinger. What can be agreed upon is that he's a really complex character. So, I am interested to see, eventually when I do get through the books, if whether or not, is he going to still have the same end game plan? Are we going to actually find out what his end game plan is? Like, I know he's hinted at what he wants to do ultimately by causing all of this chaos and turning house against house and whatnot, but I gotta say, I am a bit sad that he went out when he did, only because, let me put it this way, I'm glad that it was a Stark that got rid of him. That they totally needed to do that. No question about it. I guess what I'm trying to say is it would have been interesting to see him somehow live to the end, but then get his comeuppance from, like, let's say Sansa especially. I am glad, Arya did it, but in a weird way, I kind of wanted Sansa to be the one to double cross him, especially considering how he's like, I love Sansa and all that stuff. I feel like it would have been nice to see, Sansa become, like the student becoming the master. She would actually manipulate him, get him surprisingly, catch him by surprise, basically, and then twist the knife in his back. That, I think, would have been more satisfying, because that's all he was about. He was all about playing other people. And speaking of playing, let's play this video.
The Mockingbird. You created your own sigil, didn't you?
Yes.
Appropriate for a self-made man with so many songs to sing.
I'm sorry, do I...
Sansa, dear, this is Lord Baelish. He's no...
An old friend of the family.
I've hoped to meet you for some time, Lord Stark. No doubt Lady Catelyn has mentioned me.
Cat. I've known your mother a long, long time.
I understand you knew my brother Brandon as well.
All too well. You know what I learned losing that duel? I learned that I'll never win. Not that way. That's their game. Their rule.
Ah, the Starks.
I'm not going to fight them.
Tempers.
I'm going to
slow
fuck them.
minds.
That's what I know. That's what I am. And only by admitting what we are can we get what we want.
What do you want?
When you imagine yourself up there, how do you look?
Everything.
Does the crown fit?
Everything there is.
Do all the lords and ladies simper and bow, the ones who sneered at you for years?
It's hard for them to simper and bow without heads.
Is there someone in your service whom you trust completely?
Look around you.
Yes.
We're all liars here.
The wiser answer was no, my lord.
And every one of us is better than you.
Perhaps I was wrong to distrust you.
Distrusting me was the wisest thing you've done since you climbed off your horse.
Here we stand. And I admire you, Lord Baelish. Littlefinger is one of the most dangerous men in Westeros. In mutual admiration and respect.
I've always had a hard time trusting eunuchs. Playing our roles. Who knows what they want? I'm a practical man.
Lord Baelish.
Baelish.
Just a loyal one. And who would you have me be loyal to?
You honor me beyond words, Your Grace.
You must despise him. You're working so hard to undermine him.
Actually, I rather enjoy him. But he would see this country burn if he could be king of the ashes.
A man with no motive is a man no one suspects. You always keep your fools confused.
My king!
Your Grace.
If they don't know who you are or what you want,
And what do you want?
They can't know what you plan to do next. Everything. The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. As I said, the story we agreed to tell each other over. I live to serve. And over your sister. Till we forget that it's a lie. But what do we have left once we abandon the lie?
Cut his throat.
Chaos. A gaping pit waiting to swallow us all. I hate
gift for you.
As in a pit. Chaos is a ladder.
Ooh.
Sometimes, when I try to understand a person's motives, I play a little game.
Suggest treason.
They assume the worst. What's the worst reason they could possibly have for
Only if we lose.
saying what they say and doing what they do? Then I ask myself,
You stand accused of treason.
how well does that reason explain
How do you answer these charges?
what they say
Lord Baelish.
and what they do?
I heard a song once about a boy of modest means. Found his way into the home of a very prominent family.
How would you like to see your beloved cat
He
again?
loved the eldest daughter. Sadly, she had eyes for another.
Perhaps you chose the wrong man to duel with.
Well, it wasn't the man that I chose, my lord. It was Catelyn Tully.
How dare you bring me here?
A woman worth fighting for, I'm sure you'll agree. No one will come looking for you here, isn't that what you wanted?
Why don't you join us, my lord?
I'm saving myself for another. You have a tender heart, just like your mother did at your age. I can see so much of her in you.
Petyr has promised to help us find the truth.
For her sake, I'll help get you home.
He's like a little brother to me, Ned.
I had no friends in King's Landing.
He would never betray my trust.
Except one. Men only want one thing from a pretty girl.
She really is lovely.
Littlefinger's not in love with me.
He still loves you.
You're more beautiful than she ever was.
Love is not the thing he wants. Lord Baelish.
Petyr. Call me Petyr. The North will be yours. Command suits you. You trust him? Do you believe me?
You said you would protect me.
And I will. You must believe me when I tell you that I will.
I don't believe you anymore.
I want you to be happy.
I don't need you anymore. You can't protect me.
I want you to be safe.
I am safe. I'm at home, surrounded by friends.
He was named King in the North. What about happy? He can be unnamed. Every time I'm faced with a decision, I close my eyes and see the same picture.
He wants something.
A picture of me on the Iron Throne.
I know exactly what he wants.
And you by my side.
You murdered our aunt, Lysa Arryn. Do you deny it?
I did it to protect you.
Lysa! Let her go.
Conflict between the Starks and the Lannisters. It was you who started it. Do you deny it?
Do you deny your father's crime? I deny it. None of you were there to see what happened. None of you knows the truth.
You held a knife to his throat. You said, I did warn you not to trust me.
You told our mother this knife belonged to Tyrion Lannister. But that was another one of your lies.
You want me to beg for my life? Sansa, that's what you want.
I beg you.
I will.
Cat, I loved your mother since the time I was a boy.
And yet you betrayed her.
I loved you. Whatever you ask that is in my power, I will do.
More than anyone.
And yet you betrayed me. When you brought me back to Winterfell, you told me there's no justice in the world, not unless we make it.
If I want you to die here and now.
Thank you for all your many lessons, Lord Baelish.
Then I will die.
I will never forget them.
You may not believe it.
In his own horrible way, I believe he loved me.
Okay. Oh. Littlefinger, Littlefinger. Man. Again, I knew of a lot of the things that he did, a lot of the horrible things that he did, but still, to see it like front row and center like that and put together neatly in such a nice little package, especially like when we get to the, you know, his trial scene and Sansa's bringing up all the crimes. Yeah, like that's I guess probably the only one thing that I'm like kind of on the fence about what he did, you know, pushing Liza through the moon door, because yeah, there's truth in it. You know, I'm pretty sure he pushed her so that he could get control over the veil, but at the same time, you know, we already saw at that point he really had an interest in Sansa. I mean, you know, he had a lot to gain from saving her. You know, like, again, even though, like, in a way that was a good thing, I'm still finding, like, a reason to doubt, like, what his intentions were for that act. Because, yeah, he did save Sansa. But, one, he would gain control over the Vale by getting rid of Lysa. You know, he would become a widower again. So that would make him free to marry Sansa if that was, you know, his end game goal. Not to mention him being her knight in shining armor at that moment. I don't know, I don't want to say he was, well, I guess in some ways you could say he was trying to groom Sansa, you know? Trying to get on her side, tell her, you know, she's beautiful and nice and kind-hearted, you know, doing all those sort of things, so then when the moment came, she wouldn't be able to resist him, you know what I mean? So that's still kind of messed up when you think about it that way. I know people will say, well, that was, you know, that sort of thing was done in medieval times and whatnot, but even so, like, you know, like, if her parents were still alive, they would be losing their minds at the idea of Littlefinger moving in on her like that, you know? Like, even though it was a common practice to marry children who were barely out of adolescence to, you know, get married and whatnot, or even start having children of their own. But again, it really would have been interesting if, I don't know, I guess in a way too, it was good that he left when he did, because it seemed like with the start of, like, season 6, Littlefinger kind of, like, got pushed to the shadows, you know? Like, I know that there were other plots that had to take precedent, but the only time we saw Littlefinger do something of importance was that whole plot with, you know, getting the Vale to come help Sansa and Jon with the Battle of the Bastards and stuff. And then, you know, season 7, it was more about him clinging to the shadows and whispering little things in Sansa's ear. Like, I gotta admit, I am a bit disappointed in that regard, because I felt like he would have been a bit more prominent. He would have been a bit more malicious, because he would have seen the need that he's going to have to, which, I mean, he attempted to, but I figured it would have been, I don't know, because subtlety was always his thing, but I felt like we would have seen another side of Littlefinger, like a more calculating, a more, I can't think of the word right now, but you get what I'm trying to say. I thought that we would have seen a lot more out of him in season 7, so yeah. But what is this I see here? Oh, that's another one of his too. This I know for a fact I didn't see, so I'm gonna have to get that. Actually, that's his too. Wow, there are actually a lot of his videos I haven't seen yet. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you again next time. But for now, take care.